Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was an orphan boy who lived at an orphanage. He was just an ordinary boy, except for one thing. While other children played with their toys or daydreamed, he would repair broken toys. The other children called him the toy doctor because he could fix any toy. As the boy grew up, so did his skills. He graduated from fixing stuffed animals to repairing complex mechanical toys, and even those with electrical circuits. But it wasn't just about fixing the toys. It was about bringing joy back into the children's lives. Each stitch, each adjustment, and each repair was a small victory against sadness and despair. For him, seeing the sparkle of delight in a child's eyes when they received their repaired toy was the greatest reward. However, something strange happened one day. A little girl came to him with her favorite doll, which had become listless and stopped talking. The boy tried his best, but no matter how hard he worked, he couldn't fix the doll. Discouraged, he asked the wisest person in the village, Old Man Willow, for advice. The old man listened intently to the boy's problem and then said, "You are trying to fix things that don't need fixing. Sometimes all they need is a little magic." The boy didn't understand what the old man meant, but he decided to ask anyway. "What kind of magic?" The old man smiled mysteriously and replied, "The magic you already possess, the magic of believing in yourself." The boy was puzzled, but he took the old man's advice and went back to work on the doll. This time, though, he approached it differently. Instead of just going through the motions, he put all his faith in himself and his abilities. And to his surprise, it worked. The doll started moving and talking again. Overjoyed, the boy realized that sometimes all you need is a little faith in yourself. From that day on, he never doubted his abilities again. Now let's get back to the story. One day a stranger arrived in the village. He introduced himself as Sir Reginald Topham and announced that he was looking for a toy doctor. Everyone in the village looked at the hero of our story. "That's me," they seemed to be saying. So the boy went with Sir Topham to his grand castle. Inside, the knight showed the boy a huge collection of mechanical toys, automata, as he called them. These were not simple toys. They were intricate machines made of metal and wood that moved and performed actions like real people. The knight explained that he had many of these automata, but over time they had become damaged, and he needed someone to repair them. "I have heard wonderful things about you, young man," Sir Reginald told him. "They say you can fix anything. Is that true?" The boy blushed at the compliment and simply nodded. The knight handed him a small wooden box. "Then prove it," he said. "What's inside this box needs your help." As soon as the boy opened the box, his jaw dropped. Inside lay a tiny creature made entirely of clockwork. It had a head like a parrot, the body of a bird, a long beak, and shiny copper wings. But the most amazing thing was that it was alive. The boy had never seen anything like it before. "What is this?" he finally asked. "Can you fix it?" Sir Topham nodded. "This is a clockwork pixie. It was created by my grandfather, the greatest engineer of his time, but it was damaged long ago and has been out of order ever since. If you can fix it, I will pay you well, and you can have any automaton from my collection." The boy hesitated. On the one hand, he really wanted to fix the pixie, but he knew that if he did, he wouldn't be able to keep it. He loved the pixie so much that he didn't want to part with it. But then he thought about how happy the knight would be if he could fix the pixie, and so he accepted the challenge. Day and night, the boy tinkered with the pixie. He examined its gears and springs, studied its movements, and tested various parts. All the villagers would stop by to see his progress and offer their support. But the truth was that no one knew how to fix the pixie. It was incredibly complicated and unlike anything they had ever seen before. Finally, After countless attempts and adjustments, the boy managed to fix it. The pixie fluttered its wings and flew around the room. Sir Topham was overjoyed. "You did it!" he exclaimed, extending his hand to the boy. "As promised, choose any automaton you like from my collection." The boy hesitated. He really liked the pixie and didn't want to give it up. However, he had always dreamed of having his own automata, and now he had the chance. He carefully examined each one, but none of them appealed to him as much as the pixie. Then he had an idea. Why not fix another automaton and keep both the pixie and the new toy? He asked Sir Topham if he could take 2 automata, and the knight happily agreed. The boy chose an elegant golden bird as his second prize. He admired its beauty and complexity, but he also felt a sense of responsibility. From that day on, the boy began to visit the castle every week to repair the knight's automata. In return, Sir Reginald allowed him to keep the pixie for a while, and the boy was very happy with this arrangement. He had 2 wonderful automata, and the chance to learn from the best. However, this happiness was short-lived. One day, Sir Reginald called the boy to his study and said, "I'm sorry, but you must bring me the pixie tomorrow morning. It's time for me to return it to my collection." The boy's heart sank. He didn't want to part with the pixie, but he had promised, and he always kept his promises. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept tossing and turning in bed, thinking about how he could keep the pixie. Suddenly an idea struck him. He would simply fix the goldfinch so well that Sir Reginald would want to keep it in his collection instead of the pixie. The boy got out of bed and went to work. He disassembled the finch, examined its mechanisms, and made a list of improvements. He would add new features, make it move more realistically, and generally make it the most beautiful automaton in the knight's collection. He worked tirelessly, driven by his desire to keep the pixie. Finally, when he was done, he proudly presented the finished product to Sir Topham. The knight examined the goldfinch closely, but his face remained impassive. "It's a good job," he said eventually, "but not enough to change my mind. Bring me the pixie in the morning." The boy was devastated. He couldn't believe that his hard work had gone unnoticed. However, he had no choice. The next morning, he brought the pixie to the knight and prepared to say goodbye. But then, something unexpected happened. Sir Topham took the pixie, looked at the boy, and suddenly burst out laughing. "You win," he said, handing the pixie back to the boy. "You have managed to convince me that you are worthy of having both automata. You are indeed a true toy doctor." The boy couldn't believe his ears. He had managed to keep both toys. He threw his arms around Sir Topham's legs and thanked him for the compliment. From that day on, the boy continued to visit the castle and repair the knight's automata. At the same time, he took care of the pixie and the goldfinch, making sure they were always in perfect working order. And so the legend of the toy doctor lived on, reminding everyone that sometimes the greatest reward is simply believing in yourself. That is the end of the story. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.